First of all, like every videos, I want to say thank you, God. Thank you. I just heard the next door neighbor. It's funny that they have this perps, and they do everything possible to box in this false reality or even this narrative in people's head. And they have some of their pets like making noise campaign. It's crazy. And they use these childlike minded people. I remember they get frustrated like children. It's like it's like a child that is just mad that the reality is reality. But now this child, we gotta be careful because what they're involved in is things that cost life of people. They have blood on their hand, not only mine but others. So the death of whoever died in this program or because of this program falls onto them too. So I myself have to calm myself down because no matter how childlike this person is, she's is being groomed. He is going to be groomed, or is being groomed to do that to more people. And we're talking about very cowardly. They're children. They're cowards in the first place. But the death of children has happened and will happen. So these things changes reality even more, in the sense that as childlike they can make themselves be or present themselves, Aaron Young is no longer here. He's a young kid, only 14, who died because trash like you do what you do. Make the mistake and think that these games that you play in the game in my brain is just something I identify. Um, for me, it's been hard. It's tough, but I love being able to express myself when I can because it makes me feel like thankful to God. God, thank you. Listen, I know I'm going to go through some horrible things, and I think my targeting is going to be theatric in the sense that there's too much there's so much obviousness of reality. Last video you just saw, um, you saw the picture of this little girl, and they did the pedophilia type of torture toward black little girls. That's like, now we map this you when you're a child. I was like, listen, go watch this video. We are so validated that it's just scary. I don't know how these people at some point do not see, like, are we not getting like all kind of messages from some kind of entity that maybe like something's gonna come to us? They were calling me. Well, they call actually. I hear this trash say, you're a pedo." Oh my gosh, the embarrassment of reality. Finding out this entity is running this program. Obviously, these next door neighbors are just the bottom feeders. Are so they're so pedocentric. They are extremely pedocentric that they're ranked top tier in regard to trafficking child porn. There's nothing more validating than that to show that there's a problem with pedophilia. These people are in your brain saying, now what we're doing, we're mapping to your brain when you're a child. Remember what you did as a kid? It's like, first of all, what I did as a kid is an impulsive thing of a child. They still try to make that, like, no, it's not true. And, they try to bring up, you know, sometimes what I do, even though it's things that are obvious as it gets, I Google obvious things. And there's this article in Chicago Tribune that was talking about how kids, can do inappropriate things as children, and usually it's just something that happens once and never happens again. Some of them are more extreme than others, of course, right? But it's like you should never, plenty of kids have done this thing once, and it doesn't, it means nothing. It's just like, just just kids not understanding and not being aware of what they just did, right? Which obviously these retards know that. But they hold on to whatever they can to make you acceptive of these manipulations, because today you are forced to be stimulated toward children. And so for me, what they do is like, you see the stimulation you felt like that when you were a kid. Can you imagine trying to make somebody believe that your brain is not the brain of a child, right? Of course, that's their job, because it's a cognitive warfare, and we're test subject to this. And having childlike people involved in this is kind of smart if you think about it, because they have to dumb themselves down either way. So now, not why not using child people, like childlike individual? Their brain is already on the spectrum, right? You know, this adult that wants to be childlike, for example, right now there's a noise campaign. You know how childlike these people have to be. She's coming making noise campaigns like, nah, there is. Validations beyond nth degree that they have these tactics of forcing people to have sexual stimulation toward children. Do you understand how dumb you have to be to act accordingly? Do you understand that the validation is surreal? And what they have is like, no, we're making you be you as a child. I'm like, you think I'm going to let you live that fantasy? And they play even with tonality. It's like, no, there is. Can you imagine being a grown man or grown woman where you are literally having to act like a child like that? And you sound like a child when you have this acting gig. Like, now there is. You see, in the last video, I brought the validation that these people are trying to counter. Well, that's their job. Reality is what they try to counter because they enjoy what they do. They love this. But they want to do this with this fantasy of reality they've put together. They literally work day in and day out to manipulate you to be like this. This is part of, to react this way. This is part of the job. It's the cognitive warfare that they are participating in, and I'm a test subject too. So I am gonna get manipulated. They're gonna create this false personality, and they're gonna do everything possible to make me identify with this. Some of the way they want me to identify by it is the way they have these gimmick ways of acting. I mean, there's nothing more validating to find out that the entities running this program are really pedophiles. Like, there's a lot of pedophilia issues. I mean, there's a whole freaking ranking. There's a whole bill that was passed to limit the amount of child porn the DoD the device are used to download and traffic. A whole bill in 2019. There was a bill that was literally to limit the amount of child porn DoD devices, like the Pentagon devices, is used to download and traffic child porn. This is a real bill. It's S1413. It didn't pass as such, but it went through, and this is like to help the DoD limit the amount of child porn, because there's so much of child porn being trafficked using DoD devices to try to limit the amount, because they're ranked so high in regard of trafficking child porn by the Child Protective Service. There's a whole freaking bill. A whole bill. The bill is called End National Defense Abuse Act. It's a whole freak. Those are the entities. I hear it's like, now we mapped it. It's you when you're. How much? This grown ass trash, or imagine a grown ass individuals like, no, we mapped it. It's you. It's map. It's that. Like, I understand that's your job. You're supposed to dumb yourself down like this. Yes, no, it's your money. Is anything but this massive government doing this that have a problem with pedophilia and download child porn? And so every night, every day is always about how to manipulate my brain in these ways and stimulate me, and it's so disgusting. You know the video I just posted on my YouTube channel. It took me a while. It's two parts, part 1 and part 2. It's the same videos that I made before, but I like to bring that up again. I don't care if it doesn't change the reality of what's going to happen to me, but I want to bring that a million times, because these people involved in this, I want them to really stoop to a level of no return. I don't want them to ever respect themselves, or even ever look at themselves in any ways but what they're part of. I want them to, there's no coming back. I want them to think that if there's a heaven or hell, I know I'm going to go to hell. Like that's. I'm not saying that there's a heaven or hell, but I want them to know that on my deathbed, if I when I'm dying, when I'm about to die, I gotta, I have to be, understanding that I will go to hell if there's such a thing exists. I'm not saying it exists or not, but that's what I want them to think. This cowardly low lifeness, they gotta understand. This weak and coward, like that's. If I have to say the same thing a billion times, I will. It's just too humiliating. Like it's just embarrassing. But that video is like many of my videos. You hear the testimonials, you hear the clear patterns of what they do, and you see that there's been a consistency of what they've been doing to me and to others, and the entities that have been doing that to us has this bill that has been passed to try to stop the amount of child porn that's being downloaded and trafficked using DoD network, because the Child Protective Services ranked that network of the DoD as 19th out of 2,900 network in regard of trafficking the most child porn, making them a top tier DoD, a top tier network in regard of child porn trafficking volume. It's ridiculous. And then you have this validation from people all around the world saying the same things, from books that talks about the different symptoms and tactics of breaking down, mentioning child porn implanting in their mind to manipulate them, to break them down. Women who are saying they're doing this pedophilia type of torture. These women who saying they're being forced to be sexually, sexual stimulations. Against sexual stimulations, and those sexual stimulations are aimed toward children. A trans woman who's like, there's people around me making me think in this pedophilia ways. And I want them to be like, oh, and the mass shooting that just happened 3-4 months ago, the man, before killing 18 people, which include Aaron Young, who is a young child, a 14-year-old child who's young, who died, who's about the same age of this trash, who is here contracted to participate in this, who's died, who's dead, who have died, who's no longer with us, who's resting in peace, because the TI lost his mind. And guess what? This TI, this target individual, this guy who caused this mass shooting, why I'm calling him a TI is because he was hearing voices. The voices were calling him a pedophile. This is part of the derogative things they do. Shot 18 people. He couldn't take it. He just killed 18 people. And then on youth night, that was kid night. Youth night league, all the children are around. Zoe, a 10-year-old, shot in the leg. Oh, the bullet grazed her leg. Thank God nothing happened. Too bad to her. But she was shot at 10 years old. The bullet actually touched her. As I'm trying to. Well, this trash here, I want them to know that the day it's time to go home. If they ever have question of if there's a heaven or hell, where should I go? Where am I going to go? There's a reason why they use these retards. I rather die in hell than live in that paradise they're in right now. Their job is to counter reality by any means. I could have lived life like this. Me, I have no choice. I'm a target individual. I'm a test subject. I understand what it means. They had to choose. Like, they could choose to do anything, but they chose this life, which is, I understand why. They love the fact that they can control a human being. But the price, you'll see it. That price will be properly reimbursed. There's like somebody said yesterday, try to kind of project like reverse reality. There's a time for everything. Right now, I understand I'm a test subject, so bad things are gonna happen to me. But this trash, I know, nothings, and the time will come for them to be reimbursed, reimbursed for being God. In the meantime, I make sure that I say all I need to say. Probably they're gonna think I'm a prophet because when things I say happen after I'm no longer here, um, I guess I'm a prophet. My foresight is so strong. Um, but the manipulation is non-stop. It's like they live and eat and drink how to make this target individual feel disturbing reactions or react in this disturbing or causing a level of stress or disturbance. As I was making the video, the last video, and you see it's about this ad of this little black girl where they force me to get stimulation. Matter of fact, as I'm speaking about it, they make me think about it and give me the stimulations or make me experience what they make me experience earlier this morning. Because what happened is I made the videos at 3 in the morning or something like that, but it was long, so I put an alarm to like turn off when the video is done. Right, it was like an hour or so. And while I'm like sleeping, all of a sudden I'm getting like stimulation, arousals, right? And there's no dreams or anything. They just like they try to make it seem like it's like those like morning erections, but it wasn't that. Usually that is felt when you drink a lot of water, and it just felt like it was forced. Sometimes they better camouflaging things than other times, but um, this morning arousals is morning erections as you call it, is most men will have that, right? They play with your body in so many ways and try to like camouflage things, but it wasn't just morning erections. It was them playing my erections, and I was like, oh, they just want to mess with me. I hate it. It's like I know, anytime I feel anything sexual, I'm like, oh gosh, it's them doing their things. Sometimes they trick me in a sense, not even trick me, but they try to camouflage by making me think of like a sexual moment with a woman, or me being with a woman, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna shift it, they're gonna change it. There's gonna be a child put in my head. They've done that so many times. But in the morning, I mean, before this, before I turn off my video, I will get this erection and like, oh, it's like they're just trying to do something nasty. Immediately when I feel that, it's like, oh, it's just to mess with me, and they would try to camouflage it as if like it was like a morning typical, morning erections. That it's actually a biological reaction to in men. Every morning, this it tends to have erections. Usually, it's because the bladder is full. But um, I could feel this was not that. I could feel them playing with it. You can feel it. It's like a weird sensation that's just different. It feels forced. And I was like, oh, they're just messing with me. But okay, I gotta be careful because what they're gonna do is this erection, these arousals, they're gonna aim it toward children. And so I was right. I woke up a little later than the alarm. I couldn't hear the alarm, so I woke up kind of panicked, now thinking to myself, "Oh my gosh, let me turn off the video." So I'm like not fully conscious, but I'm still forced to have this erection. So I'm like, "Oh my gosh, the video! Let me turn off the video." As I turn it off, I just realized that, oh no, the video was about this little black girl that they were messing with me. With this morning erection, they're gonna force me. They're gonna aim it toward this kid. Like the stimulation, just like they can aims the stimulation toward children. You feel like the stimulation that you're getting is aimed towards something specific. And it's like, oh, this is the nasty things they do. It's disgusting. Because they force the stimulation that they make me have, and then they can aim it. Like they can really like just concentrate that reaction to an individual, a child. It's crazy. And then they will try to have this battle in my brain. It's like, no, but you know what? You guys are just forcing me to have this stimulation, these erections, and then you aim those erections toward children. Those stimulations, meaning that the arousals I get from these erections, I then aim towards somebody. You see, like for example, when you look at a woman that is very sexually appealing. We're all men and women. Let's just say even if you're a woman and you're a straight woman, you look at a man in this way and you feel sexual stimulation. The stimulation that you have acquired is because of this person, and when you look at that person, you feel this stimulation, right? It's aimed, even though the reaction is there, but it's big, and that feeling is aimed toward this person. They do this thing, but aim it toward children. So they start with me having an erection, and then the stimulation coming from this erection is just like aimed towards something that they want you to stimulate. So I see a kid, boom, the stimulation plus, oh, it's disgusting. And this is the manipulation they do. They aim sexual arousals toward children to mess with you. Matter of fact, if you're going to listen to my video, you're going to hear this woman who says the same thing. They were doing that toward her dog first. And then they started doing that toward her young people, children, and homosexual, which they've done the same thing to me. They're nasty bottom feeders, pedophiles. One of the battles they were trying to create in my brain is, oh, but what if, like, if you have a morning erection, right, which is a biologically normal things to have for men, right, because of the bladder. What will happen if you see a kid? Nothing. It will do nothing. Matter of fact, most likely make the erection go down, but you will not have like the arousal will not go aim toward that person. You won't even notice anything. What they do is just they give you that stimulation toward the child. And because you already have this erection, it's just already, it's so disturbing. As I'm saying that, they make me scratch. I guess they try to make me feel uncomfortable. So they even try to have this ridiculous like dialogues in your brain. That's just nonsensical because they force you to have stimulation toward children. But you gotta be strong. So I'm saying that they're doing their best to try to like mess with me. It's like, no, they wait for you. It's like, whatever, let's go. You guys obviously protect children. That's scary. These tactics are meant to break you down. These tactics are meant to make you identify with these manipulations. They are disgusting in low life. And like I said, in my brain, I just try to change. But this manipulation of your arousals and forcing you to have erections and stimulations just so they can redirect that arousal toward child is so nasty. It's so nasty. Until you hear this noise campaign, they're supposed to all like make you feel like you should identify with this manipulation that they are renowned to be doing. Last video will clearly hear what you've heard many times. A woman who's like, they forced me to have sexual stimulations. They started off with a dog. A dog that she had for a while. She has kids. And all of a sudden they forced her to have stimulation toward children. They're nasty low life. But that's what they do. That's why I feel uncomfortable every time I feel sexual arousal, because I know at some point it's going to be redirected toward children. It's disgusting. Like, for example, when I'm with a woman, sometimes in the midst of us having intercourse, they start implanting children in my head. Well, in any ways they can to make me think of children in this moment, they can. They'll do it. It is nasty, but it's part of how they break down the ego of a TI. It's part of how they try to depattern us. You just gotta be strong. And that's their job 24/7. Everything is orchestrated that way. Everything. Matter of fact, after that, because I recognized this like stimulations this erection that was supposed to look like, it's supposed to be camouflaged, like, this morning erection of guys have because of the bladder being full. I was like, this is fake. It's not because of my bladder. You guys are doing that. I can feel it. Then After doing this disturbing things and redirecting it to this child, they start making me have dreams. And in that dream, they start making me have like sexual dreams. And try to do this is to try to confuse me to when this erection come. Like it's so. They eat, drink nastiness. That is their life. Their job is to rewire reality in this pedophilia way. At least if you're doing that in something that's kind of positive, not even positive, but not this disturbing. It's pedophilia centric. Their paradise right now. Their joy consists of pedophilia. Consists of pedophilia. It's so nasty. Then they try to gaslight you into accepting these manipulations. So that's why I say, God, thank you. Because I could have lived the life they live. I could have enjoyed these things the way they enjoy these things that they do to us. I could have dedicated my life doing the things they do. And then die. Knowing exactly that if there's such thing as a hell, for sure. That's where I'm going to end up. Because I've been in this paradise of pedophiles. And there's no doubt that yo, I was God. Now I'm going to be shown for really what I was, for flourishing in such a pedophilia paradise. So I rather die in their hell, like they like to say, and ask God, God, give me strength for whatever horrible things I'm going to go through. I've asked God, God, show these bottom feeders for what they are. There's no way to escape reality. There's no. Everything, there's thousands of videos of me saying the same thing. If they do this, then something else tomorrow, it's going to be like you've seen the last 1,100 videos. It's been consistent. So to all my target individuals, stay strong. The day will come where this trash will be reimbursed. Everything has its time. In the meantime, stay strong and understand you're dignified.